So if a line passes through a point, then that means if I substitute that point in, then it must work for the equation. And therefore, if I substitute in that x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 19 into this equation, it must work. Okay, so 19 is equal to m times x plus 1. So that means that I'm now able to find m, and you can do that on your GDC if you wanted using nsolve, or you can multiply it through and solve it by hand, and that gives you 6. And then for the second part, the line meets the x-axis at -4, 0 and the y-axis at 0, 8. And I need to find the midpoint of AB, so the midpoint here. So the midpoint is the average of the two ends. So let's label where they are. So I've got -4, 0 as a coordinate, and then I've got 0, 8 as a coordinate. So the middle of the x's, so going from -4 to 0, is going to be 2 or -2. And then the middle of the y's, which goes from 0 all the way up to 8. So the middle there is 4, and that would be the midpoint of my line AB. So that is -2, 4. And then I need to find the equation of that line. So the equation is going to be y is equal to mx plus b. We know it's a straight line. We can actually see that b is 8. That's where it crosses the y-axis. So we actually know that y is equal to mx plus 8. So you've got two options here. You can either use what you did in part A, and you could do the same thing. We know that it works for the line or for the point -4, 0. We know it goes through that point. So if I sub in 0 and -4, then that should give me the value to find m. So I could use that to find m on the GDC. Or you can use the gradient. So we know that the gradient of this line is the m value, and the gradient is the rise over the run. So we can use that as well. So rise over run is the gradient, which is m. And the rise there goes from 0 all the way up to 8. So it's 8. And the run goes from -4 all the way up to 0, and therefore it jumps across 4. So the gradient there is 2. So y is equal to 2x plus 8. So either of those methods would be fine to use, either of those methods.